According to the San Francisco Chronicle, over 25,000 undocumented kids graduate from high school every year. For them, pursuing their dream of attending college and having a career is extremely difficult. They are ineligible for any public grants or loans and are unable to legally work. Maria, Pedro, and Rajem are just three of these kids who self-identify as dreamers across the country. In California, they're looking for access to financial aid, and nationally, they hope for a way to legalize their immigration status. Maria realized she was undocumented when she was in 10th grade.
I found out that I was undocumented in 10th grade when I was applying for college. My mother was a U.S. resident, and she had had an affair, so she decided to abandon me in Mexico. She drove down to the border and delivered me in Mexicali, Mexico, and abandoned me there. And immediately 3 days after I was born, my grandmother found out of the news and brought me over to Los Angeles and raised me as her own up until the age of 10, when she passed away from breast cancer. And I met my biological mother and brought me back here to Woodland, and she was very abusive to me. So even after I found out I was undocumented, I couldn't go to teachers, or I couldn't go to officials, because she threatened with deporting me herself.
Rajem was born in the Philippines and brought to the U.S. by his parents at age 6.
From high school, my grades were so high that I was able to excel from 10th grade all the way to my senior year. I got accepted to UC Berkeley and graduated with a 4.33 GPA. Unfortunately, because I'm undocumented, I do not have financial aid. And seeing that pain, I feel like no matter how hard I work, that it's for nothing.
Pedro was born in Mexico and brought to the U.S. by his parents when he was just 3 years old. He found out he was undocumented his senior year in high school.
It's a scary thought. It's always looming in my head. That's why I kind of live day to day instead of planning out everything. You know, I can't really say I'm going to buy a car here, I'm going to get a loan and pay it in 7 years. I can't do that. I can't plan a career in advance and say I want to be a lawyer and move to Sacramento, move to LA or this. I can't really plan my life now. I have to live day by day, week by week.
These are just 3 stories of the thousands, and Assemblymember Gil Cedillo knows they have a common element.
They've become part of our best and brightest. We need them for the future. By the year 2025, we're going to be short 1 million people with their bachelor's degrees of science and arts will no longer be a part of our economy, and we have to replace them.
For over a decade, equal access to civil rights and to education has been a priority for Cedillo, both as a member of the State Assembly and Senate. Despite several setbacks, he has continued to press forward.
You know, people say I'm stubborn, and, you know, I refuse to accept that, but...
Joking aside, Assemblymember Cedillo is certain the time has come for the DREAM Act in California to become a reality.
First, we offered AB 130, a bill that does not cost the state 1 cent. And we wanted to lead with that proposal because we realized that if we could bring that forward first, and people could see that we're trying to educate young men and women, brought here through no choice of their own. They've become the best and the brightest. They've overcome all the challenges that confront them.
AB 130 allows dreamers to receive aid from non-state funds. The second and most important step is passage of AB 131, which gives undocumented students access to state-funded financial aid. Cedillo insists it will not cost the state any additional money.
The Cal grants for which these students will now become eligible are already budgeted. They are set aside for every high school graduate. It's a deal that we made with Governor Davis some 10 years ago. And the agreement was that we will make college affordable for every working class and middle class student of this state. And we didn't distinguish between their legal status. When they get to the university, those distinctions have been made, and that's why they've been barred from applying for those grants. But those grants are budgeted and will be available for them. The final argument we make is the moral argument that this is consistent with our values as Americans, that our democracy is fed by education. The lifeblood of our democracy, the most incredible aspect of our society that makes it this great egalitarian society, is the fact that with a public education, with a quality public education, that your life can be transformed in 1 generation. We have been adamant both about the DREAM Act and the driver's license and making sure that our highways are safe, because we believe that this will make the state greater. Our time has come. We believe that we are now closer than ever to realize this dream for these students and their families, but also the message that it sends and this dream for all of California.
This report was produced by the Speaker's Office of Member Services.